What's up, guys? This is Cody, and today we're going to learn how to do angles of elevation and angles of depression and how to solve them. Let's get right into it. So first we're going to learn some vocab. An angle of the elevation is an angle that goes above the horizon, and it's usually going to be someone looking up to something. And the angle of depression is an angle below the line of horizon. It's usually going to be looking down at something. So we're going to get started with some examples. Here's our first one. The first step of solving this example is going to be finding the hypotenuse by using the Pythagorean theorem, shown here as 120 squared plus 30 squared equals c squared, and this is going to equal to 123.7 for our hypotenuse. Now that we know the hypotenuse, we're going to use the law of sines, in which is sine of x over x equals sine of y over y, to find angle C, which is complementary to theta, our angle of depression. So for this example, it is going to be sine of 90 over 123.7 is equal to sine of C over 30. And we will cross multiply as shown above, and then use the inverse sign to cancel out sine to find angle C, which is 14 degrees here in this example. Okay, and now that we know angle C is equal to 14 degrees, we can find theta, or our angle of depression, by subtracting 14 from 90, because angle C and our theta are complementary angles, meaning they add up to 90 degrees. So 90 minus 14 is going to equal 76 degrees, our final answer and the angle of depression in this problem. And now that we know how to solve angles of depression, now we can move on to solving angles of elevation. So in our example problem today, we're going to have a man that is 6 feet tall and is standing 15 feet away from a 106-foot tall building. What is the angle of elevation? Step 1 is going to be subtract 106 feet from 6 feet due to the man's height. Step 2 is going to find the hypotenuse using the Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. In this case, it's going to be 15 squared plus 106 squared equals c squared, which is going to be 11,461 equals the square root of c, which is equal to 107. So in step 3, we're going to be using the law of sines to find the angle of elevation. The law of sines is the sine of the angle x over x is equal to the sine of angle y over y, theoretically. So in this example, it's going to be the sine of 90 over 107 is equal to the sine of x, or our angle of elevation, over 106. And so we're going to cross multiply as shown above to get 106 sine of times 90 equals 107 sine times x. And we're going to divide by 107 to isolate the sine of x, and then use the inverse sign to cancel out the sine of x as shown above. And then we're going to plug into our calculator. Inverse sine times 106 times the sine of 90 over 107 is equal to x, which is going to be 82 in this situation. 82 is going to be our angle of elevation. After this example, it's going to bring us to the end of our lesson here today. I hope you guys learned a lot about finding and solving the angle of elevation and the angle of depression. Remember, the angle of elevation is the angle above the horizontal line, and the angle of depression is the one below it. I hope you guys learned a lot, and if you have any more questions, don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you.